So we have a lot to get into with the iX12, but I have been making myself wait until I did an unboxing video to move forward and looking at all the cool things that it can do. So let's get this out of the way. Here's the box. It showed up. It's not as heavy as I thought it would be. I'm not sure how heavy I thought it would be. But let's look at what's inside. Now this is just the transmitter, no receivers or servos or anything like that. I did open it up when it initially showed up and made sure it worked, and then I put it back in. So the transmitter's actually wrapped in plastic, and I took that off. So we have this cover, and then we have the iX12. We'll talk about the feel, the textures. We're going to totally go into the screens and all the things that it can do. One thing I'll say before we see what else is in the box is the sliders are awesome. I'm real picky about sliders, and I was on the phone with Horizon this morning with Kim, and I said, Kim, the sliders on this radio are awesome. Here's an internal AC adapter, air transmitter power supply, so we'll look and see what's in here. And of course, this is your plugs for all the countries that you may travel as an amazing RC pilot utilizing the iX12. And then this is pretty interesting. This is a USB charger, which actually is great. This means, I gotta tell you, I do have more than a few transmitters, and tracking down the right charging cable for my transmitter is never easy. And this means that I can use a USB, it looks like a micro USB, to charge this thing, which is great. That means that I will always have a charger. And then we have the neck strap, which you're going to want to wear to show your Spektrum pride. And then that is everything in the top rack. Here is a plastic bag, and in it appears to be an Allen wrench. And one of the features of this transmitter is that you can adjust your sticks from the front, and I'm pretty sure that's what this will be for. Awesome. And then we have a full set of iX12 stickers for your transmitter, your plane, your face, your girlfriend, what have you. And then we have all the documentation in here, and I believe that is all. Yep, that's it. So really it's very simplistic, but that is how you get a transmitter and save money. So now I get to, heck, we'll do it here, and then we'll get a little more. I get to push the button. And after this, I'm going to go sit down. I guess I'll push and hold the button. There we go. Yes. I'll get to sit down and really just start playing around with this. And I guess we might as well pull the protective film off. Oh, that's right. It's as awesome as you think it would be. So I'm going to get in here and play around and read and get in the PDF, and then I'm going to come back to you with things that I'm learning. I have no idea what's going on the screen. It's obviously contacting satellites across the country. It's gaining intel from Orange Web servers. Things are going on in here. So now we've loaded up. We're looking at the screen, and what I'll do is zoom in on this so you can get a good look, and then I'll start moving around. So this is the home screen, and I just want to show you some functions. These are things that I've long pressed and pulled up to a main screen. So as you can see, I think you have 3 panes here of apps that you could run if you wanted to. These are my main apps. If you ever wanted to get to every app on the system, you can press this circle, and then you can see all the apps that are loaded up on this. And sometimes if I'm not seeing something, I'll go into here. And if you want to go back, use this arrow button, and it just vibrated to let me know that it received my button push. Now, you can do this with your finger, as I'm doing. I think, especially if you had fat fingers, which some of us do, that a stylus would be good for this, because there are times when you're going to need to press right at the bottom of the window, and so a stylus would not be a bad idea. The other thing I'm going to say that's going to save you a lot of frustration is I have a tendency to want a quick click and then expect a result. On this, it seems to want a little bit longer than a quick click. There are other times when you're going to do something that is going to be a big change in programming or something like that, and it's going to actually say long click this. And when you do, it'll vibrate and let you know that that's working. So while we're on the screen, before we go into the actual app, let me show you another thing. If you pull down from the top, you get these menus. And so what this is going to show you is, like, if I click that, then that's how you're going to access your Bluetooth and your wireless. And you might wonder, Jim, why is your phone sitting out here in this? I'm using my phone as a hotspot, and so through my phone at the field, I would be able to have internet connectivity. And then there's other things that you can do here. So basically, think of this as an iOS if you would think of your phone or a tablet, because that's essentially all it is. Now, it doesn't have a camera, but other than that, it's pretty close. So here's screen brightness, which I will turn up for the video purposes. And then you have settings, and, you know, very intuitive, pretty much what you would expect on any iOS device. And so then when you want to get back, you can press that arrow button, and then it brought us back home. Now, the next question you're going to have is, how do I access my transmitter? Now, well, not access your transmitter, but access the app that will let this act like a transmitter, standard transmitter. There we go. And so it's giving us information. It's acting like we're just now using the software because I restarted everything. And so this is a great representation of how you're going to interface with the model adjust and model setups and system settings. And so model adjust, we would click here. It will take you into servo setup, dual rates, throttle curve, and all those things. And so I'm not going to go into detail because I'll tell you, the Spektrum team already put together a great series of videos that really goes over everything, and I've included it in the review, which is in the link below in the description, and they go over it. They're the guys, they invented it, so, you know, why not use the best? So if you have any questions about any of the setup of this, it's in there, so go check that out. One thing I did want to show, because you're like, okay, I get it, but why is this cool? Here's a cool function. And then we click proceed. It's going to take you to a place where you can set parameters up on this model. But the cool thing that I'm going to show you is I'm going to click this pencil here. And that's kind of where the clicks come in. I never know exactly how long I'm supposed to hold my hand there, but we're in. So here's the stock image that was used to represent whatever your model is. And then they also have provided photos in the studio of planes that you might be putting into your transmitter. And there's many different ways to get a photo into this unit. I tried the app Share It, but I had so much trouble. I thought you would too, and I thought there's got to be a better way. So I installed Dropbox on my iPhone, and then I took my iPhone and took a photo. Actually, we were at the field, and so that would be another way to get a photo in, but I put it in Dropbox, and I saved it there. And so this is asking me, well, where do you want to get an image? There's a download folder. There's a SD card that I have on the side for something I'm going to show you in a second. And so there's multiple ways to get it in. There's a gallery on this in the apps section, but I put my photo in Dropbox, and then I downloaded the Dropbox app onto this. And so in general, there is a photo. And by the way, just for use on this video, I pulled this off the internet. And you can click the photo, and there it is of the F-27. I'm kind of reading this from the side. Oh, it's there. So now it's loaded into my model, and I haven't done this all the way, so let's go back. And now our model is showing the F-27. So this would come in handy if you had like 6 P-51s, and then you could use images to kind of tell you which model you're picking on your transmitter. So another cool thing I want to show you, so you're here and you're like, hey, I need to get back to something. You can swipe out like this, and this sidebar menu comes up. Now check this out. Let's see if we can make this work. We're looking for our movie player, And what the movie player is showing are videos that we shot with our FPV SD card through my Horizon Fat Shark goggles. So when I'm at the field and I'm shooting FPV, sometimes I don't know if I got the shot until I get home. And that's bad if you have Jason Cole driving 45 minutes to meet you at the field. But now with the iX12, check this out. Let's see if this works. I now have, and it has audio too, but there's no audio on this FPV file. But now I can see my video. So this is actually a video of us flying the F-27. And let's see if I can get out of here. Okay, so we're out of there. Oh, okay, so this SD card, I think, now here we go. Here's some, this could be some good stuff. Okay, so then here's our FPV footage. So for me, this means this radio will always go to the field with me, because this is going to be my backup or my check to make sure that all the footage that we shot is usable, it's what I thought it was, and that we got it. Because at one point we thought we didn't get this flight, and this is a pretty awesome flight. So that alone, if it only did that, that would be worth the price of admission for me. Pretty awesome, right? Okay, so I'm gonna get out of here and go back to our main menu. Let's see how easy that is. Hit the back button, hit the home button, and now we're home again. Now, I will say this, Facebook. I downloaded it, I put it on here because I thought that would be cool. You know, okay, so here's Facebook. It is on, and I can do things. You can type when you have it connected to your Wi-Fi. You can do all that, but let me tell you why I don't think you want to put this on your transmitter. Every time I turn this transmitter on, every message I receive since I used it comes in. So that could be 100 messages or 100 notifications. And just a minute ago that happened to me, and I thought, I'm pulling this off. If you want Facebook and it's a huge deal in your life, you can do it. But my suggestion is don't. If you've owned a plane from eFlight Horizon before, then you know how to bind, and there's a binding in the manual here as well. So what I thought we might do to make things interesting and tricky, which seems to be the way I like it, is we're going to get on the new iX12. Have I said how good it feels in the hand? It feels awesome. And we're going to go into our launch page, and I've gone to RCGroups.com. Now this is one sentence of the review. When I'm done, it'll be a whole review, and you could send yourself a link to it. And right here it says SPM file. If you're ham-fisted, you might want to get a stylus because some of these things are small. So I'm going to click that, and it's going to ask me, what do you want me to do with this, JT? So what you want to do is save the link. So I'm going to click Save the Link. Now this should be talking to my telephone, which it's using as a wireless connection. There we go. So now it's downloading it, as you see, and it's in a download file. The next question is, what do I do now? So I'm going to go back out of here, and we're going to go back into the software. So then we just go into the SPM Airware app, which takes us back into the radio. So now it's loaded up, and you know, this looks similar to what you might see, except everything's a touch screen and it's on the OS. So how do I get the SPM in here is your next question. You're going to touch Acro or the name of the plane. If it says F-27 Evolution, it would say that up there. And then we're going to click turn off the RF, and you have to long press that. That can be a little confusing. And then the next phase is go to the upper right hand corner, and we're going to press these 3 orange buttons, and we're going to click import models. So I touch that, and then it's going to ask me, well, where do you want me to import it from? And we're going to go to our download. Could be on a DCM. If you had an SD card, that would be how you would do it with that. And then there's already some things in here. So I see F-27. I've got 2 because I have I downloaded it twice into the file. So I'm going to click F27. I'm doing it with my finger now. So, oh yes, so up here it says F27 Evolution SPM. I'm going to confirm and import your model. Alright, I'm going to click this and then I'm going to click OK. And there it is, the F27 Evolution. And so we'll click on that. Select Activate Model. I haven't gotten this far on my own here. So there it is. It's installing the SPM file. The beauty about this is now you have the same SPM file as the guy who designed the airplane. So you have his exact setup in here and it's ready to rock. So next I guess we'll plug in a battery, bind, and make sure everything's pointing the right direction. And after that we get to go fly. Okay, so if you already own a Horizon plane with the AS3X, you probably are familiar with the bind process. But I'm going to take the provided bind plug. Usually most bind plugs work, but I like to use the one that comes with the plane because sometimes it matters. And I'm going to plug that into the bind port. I'm also going to power off my transmitter while I'm doing this. So the transmitter is off. And I'm going to make sure my bind plug is pointing the right direction. You can look at the other plugs, servo plugs in the receiver, and that'll tell you which way to go. It will not fit if it's not going in the right way, trust me. Leaving the battery connected, but I'm disconnecting the bind plug. And I'm going to go in my transmitter and I'm going to push bind. And then I'm going to now walk away from the plane because it matters. And I'm going to make sure the antenna is pointed away too. So I'm walking away. I'm long pressing the bind button. And so my bind was successful. The airplane is responding. Let me say that I actually tried to do this an arm's length away, and that did not work. And I did it again. That's how I usually do it. It didn't work, so I actually walked away from the airplane, and everything works fine. So we'll verify that our surfaces are moving. Now, I'm not a long-range pilot, and I never will be, but if you are, this has long-range module support. You have an input for your headphones, but since this has Bluetooth on it, if you have Bluetooth headphones, which I do, you can use your Bluetooth headphones through an app on the iOS. Also, it has a lithium-ion battery in here, and this is another big deal for me anyway. And that is that this is not charged with a plug like you usually have. And my problem is I got to figure out which plug goes to which transmitter. But this is the first transmitter I've owned that has a micro USB slot in it. And so any micro USB will charge this. And so it comes with a plug, which is probably the best way to charge this. You could plug it into a laptop or a battery pack or something like that. And then it also has your SD card slot right here, so you can move all your models from your DX series, and that's listed in the review on what is supported and what can move straight over to this. And I would say to you, if you're going to update this, be sure to back up your models on SD card before you do. So that's kind of an overview of some of the cool stuff. I move around in the iOS and how that all interacts. My take on the feel, which is great. I said immediately after receiving this feels like my radio. That's because the Spektrum team brought in input from their team pilots and other people to really make this thing feel right, and it does. And Jason flew this, and he also agreed the feel was good. Your switches are everything that you've expected or come to know. The sliders are above average for me. The gimbals are high quality and not your mama's gimbals. Those are some nice gimbals. And like I say, the battery, micro USB, Bluetooth, wireless, really it has everything. And the last thing I'm going to show you here is there's two ways to turn this off. There's a sleep mode, and you do that by pressing this button twice. And so this is the sleep mode, and then you can push this for quick sleep, the giant orange button. Or if you just want to turn it off, you long hold the button, and then the screen will come up and say power off or reboot. And I'm going to power off, and this thing's going to shut down. Now, how do you charge it? You don't charge it like a regular transmitter. This is, think of it as your iPhone or your Android phone. This is good for a day or so, and then it needs to be recharged. If you're at Joe Nall, Seth, at the field for 2 days, charge it when you go home, and then pull it off the charger when you head into the field. And it will not let you down. But don't expect it to be like a DX9 that's going to last for 2 weeks or a week or 5 days or whatever. All right, so this is kind of my overview of the iX12. So far so good. Definitely in the air things were normal and no hiccups whatsoever in our day at the field. And we will just keep using it and reporting back. I'm Jim T. Graham with RCGroups.com. Be sure to check out the full review in the link below. Thanks for watching.